If you were to ask me, is the end near? My answer may surprise you. I would say no. The end is not near, it's here. We're not near the end, we're at the end. I believe the question is not are we near the end, but the question is are we at the end? And Daniel prophetically lets us know that we are at the end of the age. Things are wrapping up. Let's look at it. Daniel 9:24. We left off here yesterday. He says 70 weeks are determined for your people in your holy city. Speaking of the people of Israel, the city of Jerusalem, he says 70 weeks are determined. Well, the word weeks there is the Hebrew word shabua, which speaks in this context of uh, 7 years, a week being a period of 7 years. So when he says 70 weeks, he's talking about 70 periods of 7 years. So that would be 490 years. And scholars and prophecy people are basically all in agreement with this, that he's speaking prophetically by 70 shabuas, 70 periods of 7 years, 490 years are determined for your people and your holy city. And he says there's 6 things that's going to accomplish. 3 of them have to do with sin. 3 of them have to do with righteousness. And notice what he says. These 490 years are determined to finish transgression, number 1, to make an end of sin, number 2, to make reconciliation for iniquity, number 3. Those all have to do with sin. Then he talks about 3 things to do with righteousness: to bring in everlasting righteousness, number 1, to seal up the vision and the prophecy, number 2, and to anoint the most holy, or the Messiah, the anointed one, number 3. And then he goes on to say in verse 25, know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the command or the decree to restore and build up Jerusalem until Messiah the Prince, there shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublesome times. So he says that there's going to be 70 weeks or 490 years. And he says, from the going forth of the command to restore and build up Jerusalem until Messiah, the Prince, there'll be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. So that's a period of 7 and 62, 69 weeks, or 69 7-year periods, or 483 years from the going forth of the command or the decree to the death of Jesus, Messiah being cut off. And it's most enlightening and amazing. He says there's going to be a 7-year period, a 7-week period, which would be 7 shabuas, 7 times 7 years, 7 periods of 7 years. That'd be 49 years. And you look back historically at when the decree was given by Artaxerxes in 434 BC to Nehemiah. Nehemiah went and asked about going back and rebuilding the walls and rebuilding Jerusalem. And part of that was rebuilding of the temple. He said, that decree historically was given in 434 BC. He said there would be a period of 7 weeks, 49 years, and that's exactly what it took from the time of the decree to the rebuilding of the temple and the rebuilding of the walls in Jerusalem. And it brings us to the end of the Old Testament, to the book of Malachi. And then it says there'll be another 62 weeks, or 434 year period, because 62 periods of 7 years, 7 times 434 years until Messiah is cut off. And you look at the historical clock, and that brings you, if you do the math on it, it brings you to 32 AD. 32 AD, the exact time of year when Jesus was crucified, when he uh, went into the holy city on Palm Sunday, and they hailed him as king, and he began his death march. Not for himself, but for us. It said, Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself. We're out of time. We'll take this up